for the first time in front of some fans, alums, and a whole lot of recruits. Welcome to Cobb Stadium in Coral Gables. We are ready to go. We'll have the white team against the orange team today for this annual spring game. Glad that you are with us with E.J. Manuel, the former Seminole great NFL starting quarterback Kevin Fitzgerald with you. Andrea Adelson will join us in just a few moments with the head man as well. All right, so the culmination of 15 practices, it's upon us. We've got a little new special spin on the spring game this year. EJ, you said this a lot this week. In a lot of ways, a showcase for the players in the program.
Well, it's absolutely a showcase. And the biggest thing you want out of a spring game, of course, is competition. You want to see some touchdowns. You want to see some interceptions. But mainly, you want to come out of this thing healthy. And I guarantee you, that's the main calling card for Coach Cristobal going into the summer.
Well, let's not bury the lead. Cam Ward, who spent the last couple of years in Washington State, back-to-back 3,000-yard seasons. He is now QB1. Tyler Van Dyke out. Cam Ward transfers in. One more year of college ball.
Absolutely. And look, there's not often times where you see a guy potentially go to the NFL draft and then come back to college. But I tell you what, Miami has a gem of a quarterback. 3,000-yard passer for multiple seasons. Sees the field really great. He's a competitive kid. And Coach Cristobal says he has the DNA of a champion, and that's what you want as a QB1.
Yeah, his impact has been significant in just a few weeks here. So he's got a whole bunch of veterans to throw to this season. How about the all-conference duo of Xavier Restrepo and Jacoby George coming off breakout season?
Restrepo is a guy that he loves to find the open holes in the zone. He does a great job, almost kind of has a quarterback mindset when he's running routes. But then also you have Jacoby George, who's a speedy receiver, great with yards after catch.
All right, so Andrea is with the head man, Mario Cristobal, right now.
Mario, it's a beautiful day for a spring game. What are you expecting today out of this team?
Well, basically the same thing our alumni was preaching to our players last night. You know, you got out here, you got a chance to compete, you got a chance to get better, you got a chance to win. So we expect these guys to compete today to the best of their ability.
All eyes are going to be on Cam Ward, obviously. I think everyone here is going to want to see what he's going to do. What has impressed you most about what he's done this spring?
Alpha leadership, a guy that truly takes command of an offense, the time he invests in that building to get better and get his teammates better, really impressive.
Thanks, Mario. Back to you guys.
EJ, you nailed it. He dabbled with the idea of potentially going into the NFL draft, coming back for one more year of college. So here are the rules today for this spring game. Yes, we've got a few, 4 15-minute quarters, of course. The second half is going to be untimed. And white against orange. Let's make note, we've got a couple of Hall of Famers that are going to be getting inducted into Canton later this August. So Andre Johnson, the former Cane, he's the head coach of the white squad. Devin Hester on the other side as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I've called plays at a spring game, and I tell you what, I guarantee you, Andre Johnson and Devin Hester both told each side, look, I want to win this game. They want to have bragging rights. And that's a great throw right there by Cam Ward.
Yeah, you may want to show out a little bit for the Hall of Famers.
Maybe, exactly. Maybe.
Reputation to uphold. So here is our first look at Cam Ward again in this simulated game environment. Most of the starters, or projected starters, that is, they're going to be wearing the white jerseys today. And in a lot of ways, for these players and the staff, you want to make sure you leave your mark in a game like today and really the last few weeks in general during spring practices.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it's 14 practices before you actually get to the actual spring game. And that's really where the fans get their opportunity to see what you got. But, of course, you want to put together a body of work and try to capitalize with a good performance in the spring game.
The run up the middle.
We saw Xavier Restrepo make the catch on that first play of the drive. And so Cam Ward, he's got a lot of weapons around him this year. We referenced the receivers. We almost got run over by Elijah Arroyo, their likely starting tight end. So talk about a weapon. Running back room as well. That's an area where we're going to see maybe a whole lot of Chris Johnson, Chris Wheatley, Humphrey, a couple of younger players, as there are several Cane running backs unavailable and out today.
Absolutely. And look, you'll have the veteran receivers from last year. Again, Restrepo, Jacoby George, Isaiah Horton. But you're also going to see some young receivers, JoJo Trader, Nye Carr, guys that Mario Cristobal and his staff are extremely excited about. So they popped a lot in the film going throughout those 14 practices throughout the spring season. Fourth down situation here, Kevin.
Ball at the 45-yard line, first down and 10.
And so here we go. Keep the offense out there.
And let's add this. I'm not mistaken here. This is the ones versus the ones. So you got the first team offense versus the first team defense here. So you're going to see a lot of competition.
Yeah, it's a good call, partner.
Good ball.
Ward, yeah, on target there. Xavier Restrepo breaks away. And the veteran taken down inside the 10. But Ward, Cristobal was just so complimentary of just his decision-making when he's in the pocket.
Well, let me tell you something, Kevin. If you watched any Miami football last year and it was a down and distance where it was a third down, fourth down situation, they're going to Xavier Restrepo, and that's the big reason. Even if you throw him a short pass before the chains, he can make a guy miss and get you more yards after catch.
All right, so what do you think of our vantage point, by the way?
I love
we're
it.
goal line extended.
I love it. This is perfect. Right here in the action, in the thick of it. Kind of got to keep your head on the swivel a little bit.
Yeah.
Because as you said, as we were warming up, the guys were kind of running over to us. Now, I'm 6'5", 245, Kevin. I don't know if you can necessarily take a hit right now.
Listen,
and I don't want to get hit either, though.
I saw your versatility, your nimble
My
footwork
shiftiness,
there.
yeah.
I'm lacking in that department.
Absolutely. But this is really a great time to work your red zone situations right here. And I'm telling you, man, just because it's a spring game, every single rep matters. That's something that Coach Cristobal always talks about, championship mindset and nothing short of your best every single time you come out here.
Well, let's see what they do with a first and goal scenario. It's a short run up the middle. And Wesley Besaint, someone who has really shined in these spring practices on the defensive side with the stop.
That's a great stop by Besaint there. Again, the leadership at the linebacker position is going to be huge for this defense, especially as a returning starter. And also hearing from their linebacker coach, Derek Nicholson. He said Besaint took a huge step in this offseason, understanding the defense, knowing his responsibilities, and also getting other guys lined up on that side of the ball.
All right, so Restrepo in motion. The freshly minted new QB1 finds his target, and it's Isaiah Horton for a first drive TD.
It's a great decision right there by Cam Ward. He goes through his progressions, 1, 2 to 3 on the drag route right there. And again, this is Isaiah Horton, 6'4", 220-pound receiver. Look at the balance right there. Cam just really baking cakes in the backfield, letting things develop. It's a great strike by the young quarterback. First touchdown as a Hurricane. I like it.
There we go. I think Coach Cristobal said it perfectly a couple of days ago. He goes, wait, Ward, he just throws a what did he say?
He said a fat football. And I'll tell you what that means.
Like your passes
it means that it's a catchable ball.
Yeah.
And that's so true. When you go back and watch the tape of Cam Ward, of course you see the deep throws. Of course you see the ability to manipulate the pocket and keep things alive. But you see a high level of accuracy too. And that's the main thing. When you bring him in here as a quarterback, that's something you can expect week in and week out. Nice little drag concept right there. Front side is read to his right. He's reading 1 to 2, and then you got a late leak right there with a dragger, Isaiah Horton, coming open. And again, that's a 6'4" receiver on the run, man. That's going to be hard for any safety to try to guard in man coverage.
Yeah, they have some veterans in that receiver room.
Are we in break? Are we in break?
Well, so let's go back to Ward for a second, EJ, because it cannot be understated the significance of his addition to this. I mean, he was one of the more splashier quarterback signings this offseason.
Yeah, well, it was huge to get a quarterback that could come in and really just be consistent. That's the main thing that you want from your quarterback, somebody that you know he's going to make the right decisions when an offensive coordinator calls a play in, and that's what you really get from Cam Ward. There's a reason why he's thrown for 4,000, 3,000 yards within his college career, whether it was at Incarnate Ward or if it was at Washington State. So I'm excited to see him here in the ACC against some of these defenses.
Oh, EJ, there was a time when Mario Cristobal and his staff, they went to the portal. They thought Reese Poffenberger was going to be the biggest quarterback name that they recruited to Coral Gables. They find the former Albany quarterback who guided Albany to the FCS playoffs last year. Great talent and ability. And so now with Poffenbarger's addition, it's, you've got a lot of talent in this quarterback room.
Got a ton of talent in this quarterback room. I think 5, if I'm not mistaken, quarterbacks on scholarship. So we'll see how that number goes up or goes down. I would assume down as we get closer towards summer camp. But you're right, Poffenbarger was a guy that did commit right before Cam Ward, and I'm sure Coach Cristobal and his staff wanted to make sure they had quarterback depth at that position. Then obviously Ward made the decision to go ahead and forego his opportunity to hit the NFL draft and come to Miami.
The other receivers or part-end quarterbacks you're going to see today, Emory Williams, obviously a very familiar name. Boy, that's a nice catch. Near the sideline, and so Poffenbarger puts it on the money to the sophomore tight end Riley Williams.
It's a great throw right there by Poffenbarger, and really the protection is super sound from the offensive line. I know that's going to make Coach Mirabal extremely happy, the offensive line coach, but again, he puts that ball at a spot where only the tight end can go up and catch it, especially when you have a tight end that's 6'5", 6'6" on a safety. That's a mismatch all day.
That was a good throw. Andrew, you had a good view of that one.
For that completion, he said, that's why. Loves the athleticism, his relentlessness, his competitiveness, the way he's able to improvise, make plays like that, strong arm. We saw exactly why Miami wanted him.
And Cristobal has just been very vocal with so many talented quarterbacks. There's plenty of other position battles as well up and down the roster. These spring practices, he described it, it's been business-like, almost like workman-like in a sense, as you could really call the last few weeks a spring camp for a lot of players.
And that's how Coach Cristobal wants it to be. He wants guys to go out there and compete at the highest level. Let's see, we got a penalty here, maybe a holding. But that's what Coach Cristobal wants. He wants competition at every single position. Even if you're a 3-4-year starter, you still got to go out here and earn every single thing you're given. That's something he always talks about, earned, not given.
Right.
And I think that's really what Miami football is all about.
5 wins, and there you see the flag on the play. That was Joseph who made that catch previously, so this one is against the offense. 5 wins in Cristobal's first year a couple of years ago. They take a step forward, 7-6, go to the Pinstripe Bowl.
And Kevin, quite a few of those games were lost by less than 7 points. So if you look at it, if there's a play or two that goes the opposite way from Miami, obviously you could go back to the Georgia Tech game. I mean, that's a game that most Miami fans are still upset about. They should have won that one. Just some situations late in the ball game, but this team is not far off.
You nailed it. So 4 of the 6 losses by 1 score. That's it. And Travante Citizen getting a carry here on this second possession. Really encouraging to see Citizen, the redshirt sophomore, pretty healthy this spring, getting a carry.
Yeah, Citizen actually was the #1 running back out of the state of Louisiana, which says a lot because you know how those athletes are out of that state. He was also #1 over, I think it was Trevor Etienne, who's at now Georgia, the former Florida running back. So it's good stuff, and great to see this young man healthy and have a chance to play in the spring game.
Yeah, suffered that major knee injury in fall camp back in 22. Poffenbarger going to the sideline. And that time was looking for Williams again. Misfires. So it sets up a 3rd down.
Really good defense right there, too. That was something that Coach Lance Guidry, defensive coordinator, really wants to see is safeties, DBs, be accountable. Again, you got to find some new production at the safety position. Cam Kitchens has gone to the NFL. Williams is also headed on to the NFL. So that position is a spot where if you go out there and earn it, you can be the guy. Third and long situation here, too.
Yeah, 3rd and 17 after the penalty. Pocket starting to close on Poffenbarger. And so, of course, they say he'd be taken down there. Good pressure by the freshman, Marquise Lightfoot, someone who has opened eyes this spring, to your
Absolutely.
point.
Lightfoot's done a great job this spring, understanding what the defensive line coach, Jason Taylor, wants him to do, knowing his assignment. Did a great job coming over the top, getting a sack there.
All right, the white squad with a 7-0 lead after the touchdown catch by Horton.
Greatness is a feeling, a moment, a choice, unrelenting, a team effort. Greatness is accomplishing on this field and this one. Greatness is more than winning the game. It's changing it. Greatness is what we do. Accomplish greatness.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, with your home, auto, boat, and RV all bundled with Progressive, you've got the peace of mind to really wander.
Yeah, I just hope it stays this way. Once word gets out about these places, they tend to...
Are you done?
And there it is.
But at least your vehicles are protected. Let's hit the road.
Hey, fam. I am just at this beautiful lake that I just discovered, practicing gratitude, manifesting abundance.
Special day here in Coral Gables. The honorary captains, Devin Hester on one side, Andre Johnson, one of the all-time great Houston Texans, on the other side. All right, so Andrea with Andre right now.
Andre, I don't want to date myself here, but I covered you when you played here at the University of Miami, and now you're an NFL Hall of Famer. Andre, when you played at Miami, did you envision one day making it to the Hall of Fame?
No, you never envision making it to the Hall of Fame. I think you just want to be a great football player. My goal was just to play in the NFL one day. And, you know, when I got there, I just gave it the best I had and just tried to compete at a high level on every Sunday I was out on the field. And, you know, to go in the Hall of Fame is just a tremendous honor.
Flag on the play.
What do you feel like? There's Devin. We're going to talk to Devin in a little bit. But what do you feel like you learned during your playing days at Miami that allowed you to have the NFL career that you had?
Well, I got a chance to talk to the guys last night, and I was just telling them, like, everything I've accomplished outside of the University of Miami,
At the 20-yard line.
University of Miami gave me the blueprint. Everything I learned, the grind, the hard work, the dedication, it was all out here on this field that we're standing on right now. So this is where it all started for me, and it taught me everything I knew. It gave me the blueprint to be a great professional. And, you know, I just try to tell these young guys, I was telling them last night, just you see all these guys around you, these former alumni, ask them questions, dig into them, like try to figure out what it took for them to be, because if you look at a lot of the guys that was in the room, you had all these guys won championships here, and Mike Irvin, you know, a guy who won 3 Super Bowls. So how can you not want to get that information?
Absolutely. You were on the last team that won a national championship at Miami. What are some of your greatest memories playing here?
I think that's probably my biggest memory, winning a national championship. When I came in, we were the first class that came in off the probation era. And, man, that was like my freshman class when we came in. That was the biggest thing we talked about. Like, we were just like, man, we want to get Miami back, because we grew up as Hurricane fans. So it's like we want to get Miami back. We want to win the national championship. And when that happened, I can honestly say that was one of the best feelings in the world, because it was a team I grew up watching, wanted to be a part of, and to be able to get it back to where it was supposed to be, it was a tremendous feeling.
All right, last question. Mario Cristobal, obviously an alum here. You've gotten to know him a little bit. Where is Miami in terms of getting that championship again?
I don't think we're far away. I think we're getting the right guys in place, having great recruiting classes, and I think a lot of the home talent, you know, that was one of the biggest things. Like when we were here, we kept a lot of the guys that were from here. So I think that's a very big thing, is just keeping that homegrown talent. And like I said, I don't think we're far away. So I think this upcoming season is going to be real big for us.
Thanks, Andre, and congratulations. Right, back to you guys.
Yeah, that's wonderful stuff.
Great stuff.
One of the better receivers in recent NFL history, of course. You know, I thought that the specific comment there. Oh boy, Warren, by the way. Hold on a second. Trying to uncork one. And he was looking deep downfield for Horton. He found him on a touchdown pass previously.
And you love to see a throw like that, one, because it stretches the defense. So I think, again, if you go back to this rep, it's a spring game. Both sides of the ball got to make plays. Defense got to make plays. Offense has to make plays. But that, again, some really, really good coverage there by Mish Powell. All right, that's a transfer out of Washington. Been waiting to call his name throughout this thing, and Coach Cristobal raved about Mish Powell when we had a chance to talk to him.
Number 0 in the orange. What did he say? Boy, it's been a blessing having him here, the veteran who
Absolutely.
was in a national championship game a few months ago.
And I'm telling you, that's important because now you have a veteran college football player, played at Washington for a long time, had a lot of success there. And in fact, now he has championship DNA. He's been there. So now he can put that back into the younger guys and show them maybe how to get there as well.
Goes back to that word Andre Johnson said, blueprint. You know, it is valuable to have players like that.
It's extremely
almost
valuable.
by osmosis, if you will, for some of the younger players. Pick up on those habits.
And again, that's Mish Powell from Seattle, Washington. So he was actually a local kid to stay there and go to Washington, but making the trek across the country here to Coral Gables. Weather's probably a little different, but it's more sunshine here, right?
Yeah, well, Mario Cristobal said he turned me down once. I was trying to get him to Oregon when he was the head man there a few years ago, but not a second time. What is it, about 85, sunny, nice?
Whatever it is,
cool
it's perfect.
Breeze
They got a nice
today.
cool breeze out here. It's not crazy humid. And I live down here in South Florida. It can get kind of nasty, kind of thick. But nonetheless, today it is a perfect day. Perfect day for football.
Yeah, EJ, it's a unique event this year. You know, having it and hosting this spring game on campus. By the way, this is going to be our first look at Emory Williams, who is very much in the thick of
Good
that.
ball.
Call it a backup quarterback competition, if you will. Found Ray Joseph that time.
Oh, Kevin, that's exactly what this is. We might talk about Cam Ward, but the real quarterback position or position battle is actually at the quarterback position behind Cam Ward. And again, this is Emory Williams, who had a chance to play in a few games last year. And I thought he played well. Again, as a true freshman going out there against the Clemson defense, able to will that team to victory. I remember having him on the set with us after the ACC Huddle late night show, and he was just so happy, so just excited to, one, be there as a Miami quarterback and then have success he's having.
Chris Wheatley-Humphrey on the carry here. You know, and that was that comeback win, double overtime victory against Clemson. What else stood out to you in that performance about Williams?
Well, one, it was that he just kept playing. You know, there were some moments in the game where, of course, it didn't go his way, but as a freshman, you know, I always look at young quarterbacks as how do they go to the next play. So if you mess up and you throw an interception or you have an incomplete pass and you're not as accurate as you'd like to be, how do you come back from that? And that's exactly what Emory Williams did. He kept playing, and then in the second half started hitting some deep shots. Jacoby George, Xavier Restrepo, guys started making plays for him.
True freshman a year ago from Milton, Florida. Well, he still is a freshman academically. He'll soon be a sophomore.
But also coming back, I believe he broke his arm. He had an arm injury against Florida State
game, yeah.
And to now have him back here full go, being able to compete in this quarterback battle as the guys are trying to figure out who's the second and third, this is very good for him. Huge, valuable reps right here for all these quarterbacks.
There was an absence, of course. Tyler Van Dyke, pardon me, now at Wisconsin. And that's why a player like Ward decided
it's a good tackle
to come back and play one more year.
That tackle was by Demetrius Freeney. Yeah, love that. And again, this is Miami's offense putting their receivers in space. So as a DB, you got to come up and make an open field tackle, and that's not easy to do. So granted, that was a first down, but nonetheless, still a great tackle by Freeney out there in space.
It's a defense that has continued to develop and evolve this spring. Second season now for Lance Guidry overseeing this group, just like the offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson.
And that continuity is so important for especially the young freshmen on this team. Oh, we got a fumble there.
Williams looked like he fell on it.
Got to keep 2 hands on that football.
Yeah.
Strip right there. See who got in on the action.
Take it down in 15 at the 50-yard line.
Yeah, a whole bevy of Canes, on the action there.
That's number 41, Chase Smith, in fact, that linebacker position, coming over the top, finding a way to get a game-changing play right there. So again, that's a great rep because now offensive line coach can go back and say, hey, why didn't you pick that guy up? And then the defensive coach can go say, hey, great job. Continue to fight and come in for a sack. That's a team win right there for both sides of the ball.
So let's see what Williams does here. Dumps it off. Yep.
Like that.
They'll get a couple of yards. That was Chris Wheatley-Humphrey once again.
And that's a true freshman right there. In high school, he had 3,667 yards rushing and 29 touchdowns. So quite the high school career coming out of Dania Beach. And again, you heard Andre Johnson talk about it. Coach Chris Ball and the staff keeping the homegrown talent. And that's such a huge key for Miami's success in the future.
Andrea, Emery, and this offense are marching down the field. What's the view been like over there?
Yeah, you know, Mario's been telling me, look, when you see Emery making these sorts of checkdowns, that's what he's really good at. He knows where he's supposed to go. He knows what reads he's supposed to make. He's a really smart player, and I think we've seen that on a couple of plays on this drive.
Williams tried to sling it sidearm style that time. Incomplete. He was looking for Michael Redding. And so that's all for Williams on this drive.
And you mentioned Redding there, a former ACC all-academic player. So not just handling his business on the football field, but also doing his thing in the books. And actually, Coach Chris Ball mentioned him, saying it's been great that he's healthy. Again, another one of those players for this Miami team that they've really wanted to count on, but just a lot of these injuries over the past couple of years. So great to see this young man get through the 14 practices and now be here at the spring game competing.
You know, this is something that you talked about this week. You even asked Mario straight up, what would a successful spring game look like? And from that player vantage point, boy, a successful spring could just be getting healthy again.
That's everything, man. I'll tell you, if I'm a head coach, of course I want my young men to go out there and compete. I want them to give a good product to the fans that took the time to come out here and watch them. But ultimately, I don't want a ton of guys in the training room. I don't want a ton of guys that are out for 3-4 weeks going into summer camp, because that just throws off the entire time clock then.
All right, so Ward is 5 of 7 through the air in this spring game. Elijah Lofton is the ball carrier, EJ. He has been the X factor this spring.
Yeah, road grading right there. And again, the offensive line doing a great job of providing some nice holes. But you love to see Lofton get right between the tackles, get north and south, and put his shoulder pass down to finish the run.
I mean, it's a quality offensive line last year as well.
Absolutely. Beefed up front, man. I tell you, if there's a calling card for this Miami team, as long as Coach Cristobal's coaching it, it's going to be that offensive line and even that defensive line, too.
Yeah, he wants that to establish, or continue to establish, that physical brand of football really on both sides.
Nice.
Okay, Lofton
little flip
says,
pass
yeah,
right there.
I'm here.
Love that. And again, that's what you can expect from Cam Ward, the ability to negotiate within the pocket, keep the play alive, and keep his eyes downfield. Right here, you're going to see him bounce around. Again, the offensive line doing a great job protecting, and he just moves up and flips the ball to a check down right there. That's a positive play. That's a championship type of play.
What does that say about his instincts to you then?
Well, it tells you everything. One, he has his time clock, and he knows, okay, I got to get rid of this football because something bad may happen. But also, he has a resourcefulness to know where his check down is. And every young quarterback, granted, he's not young. He's played a lot of college football, but that's what the level is to get where you're not just worried about the deep ball. You're not worried about the post route. You got to hit that check down, too, because that's the guy that's going to keep moving the chains for you.
Nice to replace a veteran with a fifth-year senior
not
from
bad.
Last year to this year.
Not bad.
The West Columbia, Texas native grew up about an hour away from Houston. That one was incomplete. 46 seconds to go in this first quarter.
That was great defense right there by 31 Wesley Basaint. And mentioned this earlier in the game, his linebacker coach, Derek Nicholson, who actually was my former teammate at Florida State, has spoke so highly of this young man. Said he's really starting to understand the defensive mindset of what they want to get done. And now you have a chance to guard Xavier Restrepo, one of the best receivers in the slot in the ACC, coming up with a nice DPU right there.
Well, so think about it. The All-ACC senior linebacker, Francisco Maui, you know it, he's been out this spring.
Got him.
All right, look who's open. Just a little too far for Xavier Restrepo. He and Ward, you can see there's some great chemistry here in the spring.
Absolutely. And Mario Cristobal called it telepathy. He said these guys almost know what the other is thinking before they even do it. And again, you missed that throw right there, but really, really tough spot to get that football. You kind of got to throw up and over, and I thought that the coverage right there was really solid by Miami's defense. 3 DBs converging on that football right there in a money down situation. That was third down.
All right, so they'll keep him out there here on fourth down. It's 4th and 6 as this first quarter is winding down. Ward to Horton, the lone touchdown in this first quarter.
Got to look, we got a timeout here.
Timeout by who? Miami, of course. Timeout offense, and Mario Cristobal with a smile there. Yeah, he just could not laud the impact and just Cameron Ward's presence enough?
Well, he talked about DNA of a champion. And if you have a quarterback that's going to be the starter, you want him to be an alpha dog. You want him to be the guy that can really lead by example, but also lead with his voice. And that's extremely important because, look, every quarterback's different. Some guys aren't the rah-rah talking guys, but Cam Ward is one of those that he's going to lead by example. He's also going to speak up and make sure everybody's doing what they need to do because he's going to hold himself accountable first.
He's got not a little bit of moxie. He's got a good bit of moxie as well.
And for good reason. When you throw for 3,000 yards year on in, you be feeling pretty confident about yourself. And now you come here to Miami where you know that Coach Shannon Dawson likes to throw it all over the yard. It's a perfect mix of perfect marriage right there between quarterback and OC.
He led Washington State to a bowl game 2 years ago. Last season they had that terrific start to the year. Vaulted into the top 25 before some struggles down the stretch, but Ward was a better, more accurate passer in his second season with Washington State. Elijah Arroyo makes the catch on 4th down, and yeah, it's enough for a first. So that'll move the sticks.
It's a great job right there. And Mario Cristobal, the head coach, he loved Elijah Arroyo. Said this guy is a big dude, and I tell you what, we were getting ready for the game. He came down here in this end zone and ran up close to us. And he's a big dude. He's every bit of 6'5", 260 pounds. So I'll tell you what, again, another player that's been healthy. They can keep him on the field. He's going to be a huge asset, especially in situations like that.
You almost had to take over for play-by-play as well.
He almost get my shiftiness back. Glad I didn't have any knee issues because if I couldn't move right there, I'd be on the ground.
So with 33 seconds left in this quarter, look who's coming in. It's Jakari Brown, that's the redshirt sophomore from Valdosta, Georgia. Limited time last year, of course, behind Van Dyke and Williams.
And again, talking about that battle for the second string job here, it's going to be a great opportunity for Brown to get more reps, get an opportunity to throw the football to some receivers that he's obviously familiar with, considering he's been here for a long time on this roster.
Brown steps up in the pocket, takes off, and he flashes the speed. He's got a whole lot of room on that sideline, and then finally knocked out of bounds. A nice, assertive run that time by Brown.
Yeah, I love the decisive decision here. He doesn't waste a lot of time. He sees the pocket, he sees the opening, and he takes off and runs. And look, when you have a plush runner like that at the quarterback position, that puts a lot of onus on the defense. So if you want to play man coverage and you go out and you're trying to cover every receiver, cannot forget to account for the quarterback. It's a huge gash and gain right there by Jakari Brown.
That's the end of the first quarter. The score,
15 minutes in the books. Andre Johnson's White Squad, they've got a 7-0 lead. This Ward to Horton touchdown, our lone score.
We have Devin Hester here. Welcome back to the Miami Spring Game. About to start the second quarter, but of course we got to talk to the GOAT, wearing the necklace that tells us he's the GOAT. Devin, what has it been like now as an NFL Hall of Famer? The call that you got, knowing all the hard work you put in on these fields, led you to the Hall of Fame.
It's just a blessing, to be honest with you. As a kid growing up, I always dreamed of playing football, and then to not only to make it to the NFL, but to be labeled as one of the greatest players of all time. And to make the Hall of Fame, it's truly an honor and a big accomplishment for me as well as my career.
What has it been like to be back here? There was an alumni dinner last night. The Hall of Famers were honored, 250 alums. What has that meant to you?
It means a lot, you know, just to come back and see all the old teammates, the coaches, and just to be back here at the facility and to see the orange and green all over the place, man. It's a great honor, great atmosphere. And it's a big honor for me to be back and to show my face as well as just being out here and helping out and supporting.
As a South Florida kid, did you always dream about coming to play at Miami?
No doubt. It wasn't an option. Back then it wasn't an option. If you was a great player, you had to come to the U.
What is it like going in with Andre Johnson? I know you guys didn't play together. You were back-to-back years, but what is it like, two Miami guys going into the Hall of Fame together?
It's a great honor. You know, whenever you get a teammate of yours from another team, or even a guy that, like, man, Andre's situation, we played at the same team, and for the same college and to be able to make it in the same year, it's a great honor. It speaks highly of the University of Miami.
Now that you've been back, what have you seen out of Coach Cristobal, what he's doing here, the players on this team, to try and get Miami back to a championship?
It just looked different. It looks different. It totally looks different. Now we just got to put the pieces together and make the plays that need to be played, and we're back where we want to be at.
Well, you're the coach of the Orange team today. So what has been the advice to your team in the spring game?
I just told them, man, first of all, just compete. Right now, once you step on this grass, it's no brothering. Compete, push everybody, push your teammates, push everybody out here. And if you get a couple nice hits in there, you apologize after practice over.
I like that. Well, the toughness is what's important, right?
That's exactly what it is. Practice starts everything. And whatever you do in practice is what you're going to do in the game.
Thank you, Devin. Congratulations on a terrific career. Back to you guys.
Listen, I still periodically, once or twice a year, I will go watch the punt return to start the Super Bowl on YouTube. I mean, hey,
yeah, man.
Devin Hester.
Look, both of those guys are goats in their own right, if you ask me. And just getting a chance to grow up and watch them play, as a kid from Virginia, watching Miami growing up, man, those were some of the pillars in this program, especially keeping the U back.
That's a nice ball there over the middle to Nye Carr. This freshman is certainly going to perhaps be an instant contributor. It's a nice throw over the middle.
That's good.
Just the point that Andrew was talking to Devin about, of course, South Florida person yourself, there's something there. This university, if you're from this area, you almost take it personal in a sense to come here.
Oh, absolutely.
And follow the greats.
Well, think about it. If you grow up watching a team, then that team comes and recruits you out of high school, which is about, let's say, 20, 30 minutes away from where you grew up, you're going to put on for them. Right. And that's exactly what all these guys have done. And again, look, I've been a part of this rivalry when I was in college. It's a great respect between both teams. Of course, there's a love and there's a hate, but ultimately, both teams really are proud of where they come from. And again, when you see guys like that go into the Hall of Fame, worked hard, did it the right way, they were great pros and obviously amazing college players, can't do anything but take your hat off to them.
Let's see what Brown does here. 2nd and 10. Fires. That pass is caught. And it's Shamar Kirk, the redshirt junior from Nashville.
Yeah, Brown's putting together a good drive right here. And you talk about these reps again for these backup quarterbacks. These are huge opportunities. Guarantee he wants to come out here and put up 7 more points for this Miami offense. But again, looks really sharp. His decision-making is good. His accuracy solid. See if the defense can come up with a stop on 3rd down.
Played in that one game last year. He was 20 of 31 through the air in the Pinstripe Bowl. Former 4-star recruit out of Georgia.
Bringing pressure.
Brown off his back foot, heaves it.
There it is.
Hold
Bringing
in.
pressure.
Jackson Carver makes the catch for the touchdown.
A big-time catch by one of these other big-time tight ends, a 6'6", 220-pound redshirt freshman, Jackson Carver. It's a great play by him. And first, the thing I love is Brown understands that it's 3rd and 4. You're going to get pressure here down the red zone. Coach Guidry dials it up. He tries to get the ball out of his hands. He hangs back, buys time, and puts it up for a 6'6" tight end to come up with a big catch.
Weapons abound.
Tight end U. Tight end U here in Miami, right?
Yeah.
Been some legends. Jeremy Shockey, Greg Olsen, Kellen Winslow.
And that is something that Cristobal and the staff, they want to be very intentional with moving forward. The tight end maybe being more of a factor in the offense this year. Why not, based on this?
It's a great throw again by Jacari Brown, getting the ball off to his 6'6" tight end. Jackson Carver coming up with 7. Miami, touchdown.
The only significant addition in terms of transfers this past offseason and incoming freshmen. We've highlighted Poffenbarger. We've highlighted JoJo Trader, number 25 recruit in the class of 2024. How about the impact of Mish Powell? Helped Washington to a national championship game earlier this year. He led them with 3 interceptions a season ago. I mean, this is a bona fide proven veteran that now you can insert immediately into your secondary.
Well, that's huge to get a guy like Mish Powell. One, he's a student of the game. And similar to Cam Ward, Coach Cristobal said he comes in and does the extra work. When you have a young secondary, some guys that are also looking up to a veteran, who better than to have somebody who's already played for a championship, who had 3 interceptions, and a lot of pivotal football for Washington throughout the year. So it's a great leadership spot there being filled by Mish Powell for Miami's defense.
A lot of reasons why Miami felt like the right fit for him. Andrea, more on that. Go ahead.
You know, I talked to Mish earlier this week about his decision to come to Miami, and he mentioned 2 things. Number one, being able to play some safety. He was a nickel at Washington. He really wanted to show his versatility now to help improve his draft stock in his final season. And number 2, whose safety position is he taking over? Cam Kinchens, who is projected to be a top NFL draft pick. This is a defense that really relies on the safety to make plays, and that was something that was sold to him during the recruitment process as he was looking at Miami. So for him, it was a no-brainer to come here because he felt it could showcase his talent.
Yeah, and Andrea, they lost a lot in the secondary. It's not just Kinchens, like you mentioned, but James Williams, to Corey Couch moves on.
Yeah, a lot of the production in the secondary on the defensive side of the football has either moved on into the NFL draft or the transfer portal. So, again, this is a huge need that Miami needed to address, and they certainly did that with Mish Powell. Also, parents, Ivy Leaguers, and I believe Mish Powell was the same. Got a lot of scholarship offers coming out of high school from some Ivy League teams and decided to walk on at UW. It's obviously paid off for him.
Yeah, his mom went to Columbia, dad went to Harvard. So he turns down the Ivy offers.
Must mean he's pretty smart.
Yeah, right. Turns down the Ivy offers, trying to bet on himself.
But you know, that says a lot about him and who he is. Again, to have the idea or the opportunity to go to an Ivy League school, okay, and maybe that's not the highest level of football, and he thinks that he can earn it and make his way there at Power 5 football, and he goes and walks on at Washington, ends up getting a starting role, and now he's playing at Miami.
Mario Cristobal called Powell just a student of the game, always bringing a high motor. Ward, he's got all the time in the world, of course. It is the spring game, so it throws that one out of bounds.
Yeah, really taking his time. Offensive line doing a really good job of getting him protection. But, of course, when you see a play like this, throwing it away, that means the defense is like white on rice on some of these receivers, and that's exactly what Coach Guidry, the defensive coordinator, wants to see.
That's got to be very encouraging for this unit. You know, as to be expected based on some of the departures, but earlier this spring, it's safe to say the offense a little bit further ahead than the defense, but there has just been great improvement and development as this spring has played out.
And that's what you want. I mean, you want both sides of the football to grow during the spring. Look, nobody's going to win a football game today, and nobody's going to lose a football game today. If anything, Miami certainly wins in the spring game, right?
Yeah.
So ultimately, you want both sides of the football to make plays. You don't want to see a lot of missed assignments. You want to see guys just go out there, fly around, and compete and play Miami football.
Ward dropping back, looking to uncork one, scrambles, and he'll just throw it away. Or he finds Restrepo.
That's nice. Came down the
and
stem
he makes
there,
the catch,
little scramble drill. And that's a live rep. Of course, the quarterbacks are not live. You can't hit Cam Ward as a defender, but you're going to see him break out the pocket, buys time. And this is a live rep. Nobody touches him right here. And again, puts the ball right on the spot. That's a professional throw to a professional receiver right there. And I guarantee you're going to see that all fall from those two, Cam Ward and Xavier Restrepo.
Restrepo, the fifth-year senior, is from Coconut Creek, Florida.
Another South Florida kid.
Yeah, not too many Coconut Creeks in New England, so that one makes sense. But you think he's a potential first-round? I'm sorry, a potential next round, next level, I should say.
I certainly think Xavier Restrepo is an NFL player, and in fact, I actually kind of thought he might be going into the league this year. But when I read that he was deciding to come back for another season here at Miami, I thought that was a huge get. One, because he's going to bring in a ton of returning production, but also I felt like he was always on the same page with the quarterback. And when you have receivers like that, there's zones and guys will run themselves covered. He always does a great job of finding the holes in the defense. So like I said, third down, fourth down situations, you know you can go to X Restrepo.
How does that develop? Because you're one of the all-time greats, of course, at Florida State. How does that develop with the wide receiver? Well, how do you tell the difference between the ones that you really trust? How do you build the trust?
Well, truly, it comes down to just how much time do you put in, and whether that's in the film room, whether that's having a conversation with your quarterback when you're not actually out there on the field, just having the same mindset so then the quarterback and the receiver are always on the same page. And when you have that, that's exactly what you just saw, a little scramble drill right there. And those are the kind of reps that you want to have your players do, even if the quarterback's not live.
Let's take a look at some of the throws that Cam Ward has made in this first half. The new QB1 in Coral Gables.
Been really impressed with Ward. Again, full scan of the field, comes all the way out to his curl route. Xavier Restrepo finding the one-on-one matchup. But the biggest thing you're going to see with Cam Ward, he's never in a hurry. He always takes his time, goes through his reads, doesn't allow the defense to speed up his time clock. And that's exactly what you want from an alpha in your quarterback.
I thought Mario said it best. He's not, this plays back to your prior point, he's not careless in his preparation. It's one thing to put a lot of work in, but to be intentional about it
absolutely
is impressive.
And look, you got to look at where Cam Ward is coming from too. Now, he wasn't a 4- or 5-star guy out of high school. He's literally someone that had to get it out the mud, as we say, and go out there and earn it from every single stop. So whether it was in high school, whether it was at Incarnate Word, whether it was proving it in the Pac-12 out there at Washington State, and now he's found a home here with Miami, toyed with the idea of going into the NFL, which he could have, and he might have been the 4th or 5th best guy. But you come back to Miami, try to win a championship here, maybe you're the 1st or 2nd guy coming out in the draft next year.
Andrea.
I talked to Cam Ward specifically about this, and he said, I had to bet on myself. And if you had told me in high school I could go from the wing T to Power 5, I would have said sure. But if you had told me you're going to play at Miami, I would have said, what, Miami? So the fact that he's worked himself to this position right now has been a true testament to what he's been able to do at every stop. And what he loves about being here, by the way, is he's run the air raid everywhere he's been in college. So he felt like this was a seamless fit for him when he got to Miami.
It's a great point, and you can see, you hear a lot of folks around college football bemoaning the transfer portal. The transfer portal leads to an ascension like this, and it leads to Cam Ward now putting on this jersey in, of course, one of the more hallowed grounds in college football history.
Absolutely, and I think the sun shines a little bit more here in Miami than it did in Pullman, Washington, so I'm sure that's not a bad thing for Cam Ward. Hey, it is what it is. So now you got him out here.
Also, the second time he's shuffled one off. He's got Horton again.
Yep.
Horton can't break free, and he's tripped up near the 10-yard line. So Ward has found Isaiah Horton a couple times in this first half.
Yeah, and the way he's finding him, again, is against the grain. Got a flag here on the play. But I still like the fact that Coach Cristobal is letting this stuff go, letting the guys get in the scramble drill. This is great for the defense to where they have to stick on their man and not necessarily fall asleep. A great play right there by Cam Ward.
So the penalty was the ineligible man downfield, so it nullifies that big play. Hey,
I'm okay with that, though.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that because now you have your offensive lineman starting to learn how Cam Ward plays. Of course, you get into practice, you have live drills and things like that, but it ain't nothing like actual game type of speed there. So offensive line, they'll start to learn, hey, I just need to stand and continue to block and let Cam Ward do his thing. Of course, hold on to my responsibilities, but don't necessarily go downfield. Let the quarterback work.
Every program has a finite number of opportunities. We talked about it as we got started. 15th final spring practice year. So every rep is extremely important. All right, so Arroyo, by the way, is the tight end. He's lined up on the short side of the field here.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, I'm going to learn from my near mistake earlier.
Yeah, keep your eyes on the swivel down here in the red zone.
Ward guns it. He's got Restrepo.
Nice.
Reaches across the goal line for the touchdown.
It's a dart of a throw right there. And again, the accuracy, red zone situation, you got to find your guy, Xavier Restrepo. It's a decisive decision. His eyes go right to the spot. He whips it out there, puts it at a spot again where Restrepo can catch it and continue to run. That's the throw that leads to a touchdown. There's yards after the catch that Cam Ward is going to give you as a quarterback, and a great job by Restrepo.
You're seeing a lot of the weapons that he has at his disposal. Oh, by the way, they may not be done adding some offensive weapons. Remember that spring transfer window, it opens up 2 days.
Absolutely. I'm sure Coach Cristobal is going to be looking to see what other additions he can add to his offense and his defense. But I'm sure he's extremely pleased right now with his veteran players.
So Will Rocca, who's behind Andy Borregales. It's also quite nice when you have a all-conference kicker that you have at your disposal this year. So Rocca puts it through, and it's 14-7, the white team ahead.
Team 7.
Greatness is a feeling, a moment, a choice, unrelenting, a team effort. Greatness is accomplishing on this field and this one. Greatness is more than winning the game. It's changing it. Greatness is what we do. Accomplish greatness.
Phone call from the boss? Sorry. Outdoor time. It's me time.
I hear that. That's why we protect all your vehicles here. But hey, nothing wrong with sticking it to the boss.
Oh, Flo, you gonna take that? Why would that concern me? Because you're aren't you the...
Huh. We never actually discussed hierarchy.
Okay, why don't we just stick to letting Dave know how much he can save when he bundles his home or auto with his boat or RV?
Wait, I thought Jamie was the boss.
It's funny because I'm not boss material.
Cam Ward today, again, Miami's new QB1. 11 of 16 through the air, 161 passing yards, couple of touchdowns. Not surprising.
Not surprising at all, and this is exactly what the Miami fans wanted to see. Cam Ward, I'm telling you, is going to do a great job for this offense. The key right now is just keeping him healthy. I don't know if Coach Cristobal is going to let him play much longer because, look,
Yeah.
he's shown enough to me.
He's got a couple of touchdown drives. So he just found Xavier Restrepo to close out that final drive. Andrea, you've got more on just that connection between Ward and Restrepo
here on that drive, and the thing that really stands out is obviously they don't want to show too much. He's made it very clear we're not going to show a lot, but it's plays like that touchdown, it's plays like the one when he rolled out and hit Restrepo down the sideline that Cam Ward presents to Miami that maybe Miami hasn't had out of a quarterback in quite some time. In fact, he said, I don't know the last time we had somebody who could roll out and make plays like that. And the connection with Restrepo is so huge because that was Tyler Van Dyke's #1 receiver, and I think there were a lot of questions about, is there going to be the same type of connection with a new quarterback coming in? But Cam Ward told me that he and Xavier immediately started working together, going to meetings, throwing together, because Cam knew that was going to be his #1 guy coming in.
He's got some moxie too, Andrea. A smack talker from time to time, which is always good.
Love it. I used to talk a little trash myself. Now, obviously, if I was playing good, we weren't playing good, I won't say it much. But, again, when you talk about a quarterback that's an alpha, that's something that Coach Cristobal said. That's what you want, man. You want a leader. You want somebody that's not afraid to open their mouths and speak up for their team, because you know he's holding himself accountable, but he's also going to hold his teammates accountable as well.
He has really endeared himself to this group very quickly. And, EJ, that's not necessarily a given, you know, to just earn the trust of your team. Largely, you have to build that, and he has done that in short order.
Well, Cam Ward certainly had the respect of his teammates coming in. I mean, again, if you know who Cam Ward is, if you're a college football fan, again, this guy was the 3rd leading passer in the Pac-12, which had a group of really great quarterbacks. 2 guys that might go in the first round, Michael Penix and Bo Nix, and Cam Ward was right behind him. But Coach Cristobal said he earned the trust as well. So we got a bomb here.
That's a little too far for the receiver streaking down the field. Nye Carr, again, he can really stretch it, this freshman, early enrollee.
And Coach Cristobal mentioned Nye Carr quite often in our production meeting, and he said his GPS was off the charts, and what that means is he's been getting a lot of reps. As a freshman, you got fresh legs, so they're going to throw the freshman in there to give him some more opportunities to go up and down the field. And I like that they're taking the top off there of the defense, making those safeties play true.
You know, it's something we haven't yet spent too much time on. This incoming class of 2024, many early enrollees, they're here, they're active. We saw Trader as another receiver example. There's still so many that are going to arrive this summer. But basically, by all accounts, any outlet you look at, this is a top 5 to 10 class nationally. Craig Halbert, he's got it at the 6th best class in America, according to our ESPN.com rankings.
Yeah, and absolutely, JoJo Trader is a name that the nation already knows because of his high school ability. But now that he's at college, he gets a jump on everyone else. Now that he's been there for the spring going into the summer training camp. His name has popped, and again, Coach Cristobal talked about him. He said he was showing up so much on the tape, even as a young freshman, but understanding, again, you're going to make those freshman mistakes. How do you come back from those mistakes? That's the key.
Pass incomplete. 4th down and 3 at the 34.
So 3rd down coming up. It's Reese Poffenbarger back under center for Miami.
4th down situation here, Kev. So we got safeties in the middle of the field, so it looks like Miami's going to play some man coverage here. Again, try to force this football out of Poffenbarger's hands.
Quick drop back and a quick throw to the outside, incomplete, and he led Ray Joseph too much that time.
Yeah, and the defense did a really good job of actually creating this aired pass. Looks like Marcellus Pulliam, number 33, the linebacker there in coverage, doing a great job sticking with a very speedy receiver, understanding it's 4th and 3, and it actually just looks like the ball's too far outside, but nonetheless, the defender's still right there, potentially make a tackle.
5:50 to go in this 2nd quarter. We've got the unique spin on the annual spring game this year. We're at Cobb Stadium. Now, this is Miami's home to their soccer programs, their track and field team as well, but what the main point of why they wanted to host it here this season, there's a whole bevy of 2025 recruits that get the full experience on campus, because we are right here on the University of Miami's campus. You've got the alumni were back last night, more than 250. So it just creates a special experience for the recruits. Recruiting is just such a giant part of this entire event.
And Coach Cristobal mentioned this too. When he was playing here as a Hurricane,
hold on,
double
Restrepo,
pass.
he's trying to throw a show off the arm here.
Good defense down the deep 3rd there.
He was looking for Trader.
It's a great D there by number 6, Damari Brown, another local kid out of American Heritage High School, played some last year as a freshman, and someone they're going to rely on a lot this year. But Coach Cristobal mentioned it was important to have the spring game here, one, because he did it when he was in college, and he said it was such a great spectacle. They had a great outcome of fans that are local. And I live down here. It's not easy for everybody to get up to Hard Rock Stadium. It's about 25, 30 minutes from the actual campus. And so you were able to have this here on the grounds at the actual campus. That's a big deal, not just for the recruits, but also the local community too.
Andrea, this is the way Mario, he wants to try to structure this moving forward, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. This was Mario's idea. When he was a player here, they had their spring games on campus, and of course that was before spring games became such a huge televised deal that all of us wanted to come and watch. But he wanted to try and recreate that for the community, as you guys mentioned, for recruits. They have a ton of recruits here. This is an absolutely huge weekend for them, because this is the last time they can have recruits here. Coaches are about to get back out on the road recruiting. So this was one of those showcase moments for them. And this is just a starting point. There are other ideas that Mario has to build off of this and make it better next year.
I mean, EJ, you mentioned it before. Okay, Cam Ward basically hadn't seen the sun the last 2 years at Washington State. So, again, if you get your recruits here on campus to see just the entirety of it, obviously a little bit of a haul, as you pointed out, going to Hard Rock Stadium, so it's neat to just keep everything on campus.
Yeah. And look, I was recruited by Miami. The facilities have grown a ton, and I was getting recruited in the 2008 class. This is 2006, 2007, and I can remember coming down here for visits and actually being shocked, like, man, okay, the ceiling wasn't too tall. Just looked a little different from what I would have thought the University of Miami football facility would look like. But now you walk in there, it's state of the art, and it's actually nicer than most NFL facilities, because now you see the buy-in, you see the investment from donors like former head coach Mark Richt. I know he was very pivotal, and I think he got announced yesterday and honored to be a former Hurricane player and coach. But, you know, it takes the buy-in, and also you now want to see that on the field too, with the product getting better for Miami football.
I think we'll talk to Coach Richt, right?
Absolutely. I'm sure he's out here somewhere.
Forward.
He texted me earlier, so I don't know where he is, but
he's making the rounds.
He's kissing babies out here for sure.
He's making the rounds.
Yeah. He's the mayor out here in Coral Gables, no question.
He led Miami to that 10-win season a few years back. Year 3 in the Mario Cristobal era, or I should say this fall will be his 3rd season. Moving in the right direction, won 7 games a year ago, went to the Pinstripe Bowl. Ward fires. Here's Restrepo once again. And Restrepo coming off of, it was his breakout career year. Career highs across the board. Powell, by the way, the safety brings him down.
That was a good-on-good play right there. Your veteran safety on your veteran receiver. But you make a great point, Kevin. This being the 3rd season under Coach Cristobal, and it does take time. It takes some recruiting cycles. It also takes some transfer portal openings and closings of figuring out, okay, is this guy right for a right fit for Miami football? Are we a right fit for this young man? And it goes both ways. That was something that Coach Cristobal talked as well.
Well, known as one of the better recruiters in the nation for a long time.
Recruited me years ago.
Yeah.
He was at FIU. He was the head coach at FIU. And Coach still gives me a hard time about not taking the visit.
Yeah.
And I apologize to him every time, but I think it worked out for both of us. It's all good.
Yeah, he gave it his best shot. The Saint on the tackle that time. I'd be curious then, because that's such a critical aspect of a recruitment process. You know, you want that relationship with a head coach to be authentic, and you want one to be there not just with assistants, but with the head coach as well. Could you peel the curtain back? I mean, what is Mario like when it comes to that?
Well, he's a straightforward guy, first off. And if you're not from Miami, that's the first thing you hear over the phone is his Miami accent, all right? And obviously his Cuban background. But that was really cool, man, because the thing I respect the most about Coach Cristobal, he's not going to just tell you what you want to hear. He's going to tell you what you need to know. And I think every player, whether they think that's a good thing or not, it's a great thing because, as I told you, when you get to the NFL, it's all business there. So you're going to have some coaches that might tell you something on Monday, and then on Friday they do something completely different. And that's not what you're going to get from Coach Cristobal. He's going to coach you hard. He's going to help you become a good young man. That's a great throw right there.
That one is right on the money, and a nice cutback. Some open space for Shamar Kirk. Trying to take it all the way. It's another touchdown, and Emory Williams throws his first of the day.
That was a great throw. And again, if we can get that replay, of course you see the speed by Shamar Kirk. Shamar Kirk there, but the throw. It's not a touchdown.
It looked like he stepped out of bounds on the sideline there.
The throw is what led to that explosive play right there. It was right on the money, a yard right in front of Kirk, coming across the middle. Able to take it another 50 yards.
We're hanging out here in the back right corner of this end zone.
Not the best vantage point, but it's not bad either. Might get a touchdown here in our lap.
It's been terrific.
Oh, sorry.
On the ground this time.
Here's that throw right here. You're going to see him read it and get it out on time. Ooh, throws it right into a window. And Shamar Kirk does a great job coming inside there, full speed, and enough speed then to take it another 40 or 50 yards. That's the yards after catch kind of throws you want to see from your quarterbacks. And again, as much as it's important to see Cam Ward do it, it's even more important to see it from your backups too, who are fighting for that second spot.
That was a nice job by Markeith Williams that time to run down Kirk. So Williams gets to operate again. The goal-to-go offense on the ground once more to Tyrell Walden, the second.
And I'll tell you what, considering Miami has a lot of running backs out, mainly Mark Fletcher, running back room's done a good job. Maybe that's probably more because of the offensive line and their dominance, but the backs have done a really good job. A.J. Allen, another running back returning, he's also out right now. So Wheatley Humphrey, Chris Johnson Jr., Walden, Citizen, all these guys have done a great job running between the tackles and also running behind the shoulder pads.
Which is very important. You mentioned it a moment ago. Mark Fletcher Jr. is Miami's second leading rusher from a season ago. They expect him, Mario Cristobal and the staff, to be ready for the fall, but he's inactive today. So is A.J. Allen. And remember, a couple of running backs from a year ago transferred away. Henry Parrish entered the portal last month.
Don Chaney also moved on.
Yeah.
So this might be a position where you do see Miami hit the transfer portal to really add some more depth. But the backs have done, again, a great job of giving them an opportunity, especially these quarterbacks, to really revamp on that play action pass opportunities too, especially down here in the red zone.
Another scoring situation, 1:08 to go in the second quarter. Cam Ward is throwing a pair of touchdowns. Williams scanning, working through the progressions, a little pressure, and so that forces the errant
It's a
throw.
good play.
Nice, yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's good play
Pressure
by the
that
defense.
time.
Yep, good play by the defense, and also a very, very sound decision by Emory Williams. You don't want to force anything right here. If you don't have it, if it's not clean down the red zone, just throw it away, move on. You got an extra down to try to get it in. Now it's 4th down.
So that was Cooper Ricks with the pressure that time. And so they huddle on 4th and 6.
4th down situation. See what Coach Guidry on the defensive side tries to dial up. You think pressure here, Kevin, especially try to get that football out of the quarterback's hands quick.
Williams, a sophomore, or soon to be, from Milton, Florida. Drops back, steps up, guns it, caught, touchdown.
It's a great play design right there.
Ray Joseph makes the catch for the score.
Love seeing these quarterbacks go through their reads, taking their time, the patience in the pocket, allowing the receivers to uncover on the crossing routes. Ray Joseph, speedy receiver, actually put 15 pounds of muscle on since he got here on campus a year ago. It's a great job right there by that young man.
Joseph, the soon-to-be sophomore, like you said, from Miami Edson High, man, into the end zone. Let's go to Andrea.
I'm glad EJ mentioned the fact he put on 15 pounds, because when I was talking to Mario earlier, he said it's amazing what a difference 15 pounds can make. Just raved about the improvements Ray has made throughout the spring and pointed to him as being a guy to keep an eye on. They can line him up in a bunch of different places. Really excited about what his season looks like this year.
It just speaks to the importance of these 15 practices. I mean, EJ, in a lot of ways, of course, the main key here for the players' development, but you know, for the coaching staff, there's a little bit of roster management that you know, will be factored into this equation very soon. So you want to make sure you're putting in your best effort.
Absolutely, and that's part of where we are with college sports today. I mean, of course, the players have the opportunity to jump into the transfer portal and find a better opportunity for them. The coaches have the same way. You got to have that blueprint. You got to have that open mode of communication between the players and the coach, so there's no surprises. Everybody's on the same page. But just again, going back to Ray Joseph, 15 pounds of muscle, but also a great attitude. And that was something that Coach Chris Ball kept saying about that young man, his attitude and the way he comes to work. I watched some of his clippings and some of his interviews after practices throughout the spring, and he just says however he can help the football team, that's what he wants to do. So if it's not the receiver role, it's also maybe a role on special teams, which is also good for guys even to go to the pro level too.
Something so simple that is just so critical as you're building not just a roster, but a culture as well. So we've got about 54 seconds to go in this first half, and it has been competitive in a lot of ways. Ward looking deep down the sideline, and that's knocked away.
Some great defense, too.
He was looking for Arroyo.
That's the freshman there, making a play on the defensive side of the football, number 22, Cam Bobby Pruitt out of Alabama. Now, he actually goes by Bobby because of his grandpa's name. It's a little bit of legacy right there. And also another player that added about 20 pounds since arriving here to Coral Gables on campus, early enrollee freshman. Great play by him.
High IQ player. Ward checks it down.
That's a good catch.
And a flag comes in after the Chris Johnson catch out of the backfield.
Very, very good catch. And a lot of running backs aren't able to spin and bend like that when the ball is in the air. But again, Cam Ward, I'm sure he tells his running backs, hey, everybody's eligible when I'm back there at quarterback. Anybody can get the football. So always have your head on the swivel.
Illegal block in the back on the offense.
Nice little check down
So there's
right there.
the block in the back right there.
And, you know, again, another good rep for the coaches to go back to the drawing board. Because, again, you would rather do that in the spring game than do that against Florida in week 1. You know, sometimes those plays aren't necessary. If your running back already has 5 yards, just let him get tackled, do what he got to do. Or also let him earn his scholarship too. Let him make a missed tackle there so he can keep running, but definitely don't block a guy in the back. It's a good lesson to learn. Second and long situation.
Yep. So what does he do here with 20 to go?
So the thought process when you have second and long is always try to get half of it back here. You don't have to get the whole thing. Just try to get at least 6 or 8 yards, which he does.
Zips it, boy, on target. That's a nice pass to JoJo Trader. So the highest rated player in Miami's 24 class, who should be an instant contributor, makes a nice catch there to get all of it back.
Absolutely, and a star receiver coming out of Chaminade Madonna High School, another local talented player, decided to stay home here in the Miami area. Can't say enough good things about Cam Ward. You didn't notice the arm angle right there to whip that ball to JoJo Trader, coming right past the linebacker, right on the money, again creating yards after the catch.
You know, is that not just another good example of the IQ? You know, it's one thing to have the arm talent, but just to be able to create and play make, that's important.
Well, Kevin, what it is command of the offense. When you know where every single player is going to be, when you break the pocket or when you start moving around, you don't have to necessarily start to panic because you know, okay, I got somebody coming right over the top of this linebacker here, and that's exactly what happened. So if you're the defense is going up against Cam Ward in ACC, got to remind your DB, stay with your man, because if he moves around the pocket, he's still looking for these receivers to streak open.
Just a total game changer of an addition. And again, Ward, as we've mentioned a couple of times, he very much toyed with the idea of entering his name into the NFL draft.
I thought it was a smart decision to come back to school because, one, this is such a deep class at the quarterback position. There may be 5 or 6 guys go in the first round, and I do think Cam Ward would have been in that conversation, especially as he goes throughout the draft process. Like a guy like J.J. McCarthy was really able to help himself. But ultimately, if you have a chance to come back for one more year, come back. Get another year of education, also get another year to hone in on your skills and potentially win the championship.
Say that again, we got to run. What's that? Ward, nothing there. And so that brings up a 3rd and 10 with 15 seconds to go.
3rd down and 10 at the 42.
In what's been a pretty competitive first half.
Absolutely. Defense has made some plays. Offense has made some plays. I'm sure Coach Cristobal and his staff are extremely pleased with the way these guys have competed. And also the thing I like, too, is that they're practicing the right way. Nobody's taking any liberties trying to crack back on guys, getting any dirty hits and stuff like that. You're still teammates at the end of the day. You want to compete, but ultimately take care of each other, too.
See what Cam the Catalyst does here. Fires, that's caught. And another catch for Xavier Restrepo.
Now, he does wear number 7, Kevin, so I might have to give him an NIL deal from 7-Eleven because he's always open. I'm telling you, like, anytime it's a 3rd down situation, you know they're going to number 7. Again, Restrepo doing a great job channeling on the route right there, coming down the stem instead of just going flat where a DB can have a chance to then undercut that pass. He comes down the stem on the outside. Friendly receiver, man. Quarterbacks love guys like that. They're just friendly to the football.
I didn't know you were a Slurpee guy. Are they still doing that, by the way?
Absolutely.
Is that still a thing?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's still
When's
a
the last
thing.
time you had a Slurpee? Has it been a minute?
It's been a little while.
Okay.
Yeah,
We got to get you a Slurpee down here in South Florida, man.
Plot one back to
it's
the
too hot
hotel
not to have a Slurpee.
Yeah. Ward looking this way. Dumps it off to Restrepo.
Oh.
Tries to hurdle a man. He goes tumbling out of bounds. Pops right back
That's a
up.
good tackle.
With 2
Love
seconds.
the pursuit there by Damari Brown. Number 6, again, out of America, Heritage High School. Now, see, this is where I got to pull Xavier Restrepo to the side. Hey, big fella, I know you want to make a big play. I know you want to do something for the fans, but it's a spring game.
But it's
Be
April
smart.
13th.
Be smart. We need you for the season. But a great pursuit right there by young freshman Damari Brown going into his sophomore season.
Also, here is the brilliant All-ACC senior from Miami, Andy Borregales. Pretty automatic, isn't he?
Absolutely. Just like his brother.
Field goal is good. 4 on 3.
Following in the footsteps of Jose, won the Groza Award here a few years ago. And so, at the horn there, the orange team takes a 3-point advantage.
Coach Cristobal, great first half.
Cam Ward's numbers fine first half for the new Miami QB.
Greatness is a feeling, a moment, a choice, unrelenting, a team effort. Greatness is accomplishing on this field and this one. Greatness is more than winning the game. It's changing it. Greatness is what we do. Accomplish greatness.
Phone call from the boss? Sorry. Outdoor time. It's me time.
Ah, I hear that. That's why we protect all your vehicles here. But hey, nothing wrong with sticking it to the boss.
Oh, Flo, you gonna take that? Why would that concern me?
Because you're aren't you the...
Huh. We never actually discussed hierarchy.
Okay, why don't we just stick to letting Dave know how much he can save when he bundles his home or auto with his boat or RV?
Wait, I thought Jamie was the boss.
It's funny because I'm not boss material.
Beautiful evening in Coral Gables, the Miami spring game. It's 1/2 in the books, and the white team has a 17-14 lead. Cam Ward, as advertised today, is the newly minted QB1.
Yeah, making some really decisive decisions. He's accurate with the football, doing a great job keeping plays alive, using his legs, also throwing the ball away when it's called for, making the right play, not trying to do too much, going through his reads again, showing a lot of explosion with this offense, but mainly just giving his receiver chances to make plays, just like that, right there on the outside sideline.
The dynamic, high IQ, fifth-year
All right,
senior
here with
just
Mario
transferred in, of
Cristobal.
course, after
Mario, we
spending the
saw
last
some
couple
great
years at
highlights from
Washington
Cam
State.
Ward in the offense. What have you liked in the first half?
I like the fact that we ran base plays against base fronts and base coverages, and guys try to compete and win their one-on-one matchups. He extended some plays, had some good throws. Probably, there you go, start off with an offside just when I was saying some positive stuff, right? But the fact that, he had a good command of what we had from a limited game plan standpoint, and just the fact that we competed. It was a good spring. But he's going to play the second half. He wants to play. We're going to get a little bit, a couple more looks at a couple more guys.
Thanks, Mario.
And so that's what's critical here. Mario and this staff get some additional looks, but good, successful first half in the books.
Yeah, very successful first half. And like I said, offense has made some plays. The defense has made some plays. You want a good mix of that. And ultimately, the guys are practicing the right way. Nobody's trying to take any dirty hits, keeping the quarterbacks upright, allowing those guys to go through the reads. It's really good.
So this second half, we're going to keep the clock running, and you'll certainly see an array of different players getting some opportunities now. The quarterback is Jakari Brown. We saw him for a bit in that first half, finishing up his redshirt sophomore year from Valdosta, Georgia.
And you're also seeing some young offensive linemen in there. They got a freshman center, Nino Francavilla, freshman out of Toronto, Ontario, 6'3", 295.
I like the accent.
Yeah, try to go silent with the L's there, you know what I mean? Try to get my Italian on. But again, these are really great reps for these young players, especially the early enrollees, the guys that came in pretty much forewent their senior season in high school, senior year in high school, didn't go to prom, and now they're out here practicing college football, trying to earn this position.
That path is just becoming more and more common, of course. We've been seeing it for several years, to enroll early, get the opportunities and reps. That ball is on the ground, and we may have a turnover. And so the white team recovers the fumble.
Got to keep two hands on the football, and that is a great job. Looks like the defensive end right there. Try to get a number on that young man.
Stay here.
Of just swiping down across the body right there, punching that football out. This is number 19. Try to find his name here.
Yeah, Riley.
All right, last name Riley. Try his first name.
Coming out of nowhere
Absolutely.
to make
Not even
the
on
play.
my play call sheet here.
Yeah, that might be Savion Riley. Yeah, there he is. The redshirt sophomore is just looking more and more confident. And a great addition from Vanderbilt. So Riley with a nice play. Always a few surprises in the spring game, of course.
Hey, look, that's a great play. One, because it's a winning play. You get the ball back to your team's offense, but If you can just stick in a hand or punch a football out when a guy's running past you, that's going to be huge, creating turnovers like that, especially from the safety position playing down inside the box. He actually had a career-high 12 tackles against Florida last year, again, when he was playing for the Vandy team in the SEC. So another very good transfer brought in at the safety position by Coach Cristobal and his staff.
So you look back to last year as Ward steps back in to play a little QB here in the second half.
Good pass breakup by Daryl Porter Jr. right there.
Yeah, another returning starter.
Yep. One of the lone starters for the secondary for Miami, so good to see him still out there making plays. And again, that's what I mean by practicing the right way. That was a bang-bang play right there. Nobody's taking shots on the receiver. DB does a good job of sticking his hand in there and knocking it out for the PBU.
Your name is up there on that building.
All right, so breaking news. We have found him. We have found our man, Mark
We
Richt.
got Coach. Here we go.
We got Coach, guys. We got Coach. I asked him if he wanted to come down and see EJ. He's like, I want to see you, Andrea. So, hey, I take that as a compliment. Sorry, EJ, no offense. But
Playing favorites.
Here we are with Mark Richt. Mark, you were honored last night at the alumni dinner. Your name is now on the indoor building. You contributed some money to get that done. What has this been like being back here and being honored last night?
It's great. I mean, first of all, being honored for the indoor facility. The Sofer family, Carol Sofer in particular, is very gracious to want Catherine, my wife's name, and my name on it. And we're very thankful for that. And we did put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that project. You know, a little bit of money, but also a lot of time and effort walking the yard every day after practice and making sure everything was just right. But had a great time. And then it was also a football alumni event last night. So I saw some guys I hadn't seen in 40 years. And we all look old, man. But it was a lot of fun, and being here has been great too. Mario's opened the doors wide open for us to just be anywhere we want, and we really appreciate him.
How many of your former teammates were there last night?
A good many. The problem is, when you're at an alumni event, you tell war stories. Well, if you tell war stories in front of your players, it's not good. So some of my former players couldn't believe what they were hearing, and it's definitely not something we'll put on the air today. But that's why I became. My nickname was Boca because I was from Boca Raton, but became Boca Baby for reasons we can't mention on the air.
No, come on, you got to give us some.
But they were talking about all that last night, so can't do it.
All right, it was great seeing you here, Coach. Thanks for the time. Back to you guys.
Now Boca Baby now.
Boca Baby.
Now part of the College Football Hall
Absolutely.
of Fame,
And
of
we
course.
also call him the Silver Fox there at ACC Huddle. So that's our leader right there, our coach, Coach Richt. Can't wait to get a hug from him. And it's awesome that Coach Cristobal wanted to honor him as a former coach and also a former player. That's always great. And Coach Richt is a great man. Taught me a lot as far as being a husband, being a father. And we call him Coach over there, man. He gets the ultimate respect. He'll yuck it up, too. Now, he's funny, too. He's a comedian, part-time comedian.
Well, the stories, yeah, if only we were a fly on the wall last
yeah.
night. You know,
I've heard some stories.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a special event last night. There's a flag before this next snap. It's a false start here on the offense, so back him up a few 5 yards here. And, you know, what, 250 plus former Miami football players and alums all gathering yesterday. It's become a really special annual event. Again, all part of, let's make this a pretty special weekend overall.
Yeah, it's great to get that type of support from the former players. And look, again, I know I played at Florida State, but these guys here at the U are tight-knit. They love each other, their family, even to the young guys as well.
All right, who's open?
Another dime, another
touchdown. Oh, our man's got a red jersey on.
Cam Ward lighting it up, man. He also had another great throw earlier within this drive, but right there, putting it right in the breadbasket for his receiver to run under it. Red zone killers right here from Miami. They're doing a great job of putting that ball up in the air.
Another touchdown. Looked like maybe it was Jacoby George, the masked man here, but that's the third passing touchdown for Cam Ward in what amounts to really his public debut, in a sense, for a lot of recruits, fans, former players, alums, friends of the program here on display at Cobb Stadium. So another one for Ward.
Yeah, Ward putting on a show out here. Just a clinic right now with accuracy, with the ability to find the open receiver, also throwing guys open right there. Beautiful throw in the back corner of the end zone, letting the receiver run under it.
Are we going to a break, or can I tee up? Okay.
The extra point is good.
24-14 now. Nice crank.
Great job right here, knowing where to go with the football. Red zone situation, a little spray fade for a touchdown. Cam Ward balling out.
Run yourself a free duffel bag.
There he is.
My name is Slim Sadie. My name is Slim Sadie. My name is what? Excuse me.
The NFL Draft begins Thursday, April 25th on ESPN and ABC.
He's good. Yeah, he was having some stomach stuff, but he's good.
Okay.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
I didn't want to be here and not shake your hand.
Yes, sir.
Give you a hug.
Yeah, love you, Coach. I see you soon. Congrats. Okay.
Back at Coral Gables, Miami spring game. Cam Ward just threw another touchdown, so it's 24-14. The white team is ahead. All right, Andrea, who'd you find on the sideline here?
Here we have Jalen Phillips. I found him randomly. I covered Jalen a couple of years ago. He's still in Miami with the Dolphins. Obviously, Jalen, what's it like to be back here? Lots of alums back. Huge event last night. What's it like for you?
It's incredible. I mean, I always love coming down, showing support to the U. Obviously, there's a lot of excitement going on right now, and it's cool to see it and be a part of that.
Do you have any message for the players out here in the spring game?
Oh, man, just keep working hard, keep your head down, and definitely appreciate this time while it lasts.
All right, now we got to ask you a health update for you. How's the rehab coming along, and what can Canes fans expect to see out of you this fall with the Dolphins?
Yeah, rehab has been going great, just attacking it every day, and I'll definitely be back healthy for the season, and God willing, stay healthy for the season. So.
Awesome. Thanks, Jalen. Appreciate it. Back to you guys.
We have got the full cast of characters. Everybody, the who's
Everybody
who.
comes back,
yeah,
man. Absolutely. And that dude is a beast. And again, another great story about transfer portal. I think Jalen Phillips came from UCLA, came down here to Miami, ended up being first team all ACC, led the league, I believe, in sacks. Now he's doing his thing in the NFL. Should be getting that second contract soon.
Which is always
nice.
Yeah, that is the main goal.
Pretty cool to be able to play your college ball at Miami, then also play for the Miami Dolphins. That's probably the trifecta. Then the last one to do that I can think of. Oh, pick six.
All right, do we have our first turnover of the day, or I should say first interception? Yeah, taking it back all the way for the pick six, Demetrius Freeney.
That's the second time Freeney has come up. The first time he came out with an open field tackle. Now he's breaking on a route. Ball thrown on the inside, so quarterback certainly got to get that one outside there, but nonetheless, you leave it inside, your DB's got to come up with the interception speed to take it back to the crib.
Yeah, jumping that route that time, so Freeney makes another impressive play. Transfer from the College of San Mateo, so making the jump up from the junior college ranks, and that time stepping in front of the Judd Anderson pass. Anderson,
young freshman.
early enrollee himself. You know, this staff, though, is very high on Anderson's potential down the road.
Yeah, good learning lesson right there for Anderson to understand, and I'm sure he knows this. You can't leave those out-cutting routes inside. This is college football. These guys are going to break on that stuff, and they know, okay, depending on the down and distance, where the football's at, where the football might go. So right there, DB sat on it, broke on the football, great catch, because that's the main thing. DBs, you got to still catch the football. But the real money is when you take it back for a touchdown. That's a huge play.
This retooled and revamped secondary for Miami. So here's the white team ahead 30-14. And so we are going to roll to the end of the third quarter. We'll step aside for a minute in Miami. The transfer portal, it's from a quarterback standpoint, it's been quite nice for many ACC schools.
Absolutely.
Cam Ward is not the only starter to transfer. He's obviously going to be the QB1 here at Miami, but one of his counterparts from the Pac-12 there, DJ Uiagalelei, will be in Tallahassee. Kyle McCord, of course, guided Ohio State to great success last year, just falling short of a playoff appearance. Fran Brown doing some work at Syracuse. A whole bevy of incoming prominent quarterbacks into the league. Ward is not the only one.
Nah, he's certainly not. Malik Murphy also coming from Texas. Now he's at Duke with Manny Diaz. You also got Grayson McCall. He leaves Coastal Carolina. One of the all-time quarterbacks. I remember watching him play on a bunch of Thursday night games. Now he's at NC State with Dave Dorn and that offense. Watched him in the spring game last week. He looked really good. So, tell you what, ACC might be the league with the quarterbacks, especially from the transfer portal this year.
Well, in a lot of ways, that was the narrative around the Pac-12 a year ago. And, you know, it's just another example of if there is a spot open, you know, that is how a program can attract talent. If you're a veteran and there are spots open, heck, it could be from one side of the country to the other.
Yeah.
You know, that is certainly most attractive, you could say,
absolutely,
for top-tier quarterbacks.
And even Hank Bachmeier, I remember watching him play at Boise State as a freshman against a Florida State team, and if I'm not mistaken, might have beat him. And so, again, you got a lot of quarterbacks that have played a ton of football. Tyler Shough, who's now at Louisville. Another dime
nice
right there.
throw.
Great throw, great catch.
That's Shamar Kirk, who hauls that one in.
Kirk's been showing up a lot today, and that throw was by Corey Brown. Again, seeing the middle of the field being closed right there, so now he knows he has a one-on-one matchup outside. Put the ball out. Kirk does a great job of staying on that red line right there to come back inside for a huge explosive play right there offensively.
Brown led his receiver quite well that time. And so Brown maybe leads us to an interesting discussion in a crowded quarterback room. This one's coming our way.
Incomplete, second down and 10 at the 28.
Wanted to see if you had some hands, Kev.
Yeah, well, Clayton had us covered here. Thanks,
There you go,
Clayton. That one, I was in position. I was ready for the one-handed catch, kind of Odell Beckham Jr. style.
No doubt.
But anywho, you know, maybe the Brown being out here leads us to an interesting discussion, perhaps. Look, this is a very crowded quarterback room.
Yeah.
Teams do not have to be, call it, scholarship compliant, if you will, in the spring. So, you know, Miami is an example of a team. They've got, you know, close to 10 players, you know, over what would be the scholarship limit. Here's a turnover, by the way, on that exchange. And, yeah, so it's going to be a turnover here. Marquise Lightfoot falls on it.
Yeah, it's a big play right there by the Miami defense. Coming up with resourceful play, not securing the handoff. It looks like the snap might have been a little bit late right there, but as a quarterback, it's still your responsibility to secure that handoff. If you can't get it to him, just eat it, keep it. You have to take the sack and move on to the next play. But again, that's a tough missed opportunity because you're down in the red zone. Don't get a chance to capitalize and get points.
Lightfoot, that's good effort and pursuit on his part. But how about looking forward now? What's next for a lot of players in position battles or players cementing perhaps a role and a scholarship moving forward? What's critical in that whole thing? We're going to dive more into that when we return. Let's take a quick timeout in Miami. Reese Poffenbarger, who guided Albany. He wishes. He guided Albany to the semifinals of the FCS playoffs last year. And there's a flag on the play there after the Joseph catch. But boy, so Joseph, here we are in the back right corner of Cobb Stadium. Yeah, in a lot of ways, Joseph just got a ovation from some of the fans, crowd, families that are here. I think in a lot of ways, this has been a pretty ringing success this year.
And it's been extremely successful.
Yeah, revamp Miami spring game.
Yeah, and I think this was a really good idea to have it here on the campus again so the community could get out here. The student body could also easily get out here. And then also, I mean, this is important. A lot of these guys for this Miami team are from Miami. So if you have the game up in Fort Lauderdale or Miami Gardens, don't get me wrong, it's a 25-minute drive, but it's still a drive.
Yeah.
You live here close to Coral Gables, you can take the tram, take an Uber. It's easier, much easier to get here. So I thought this was a great idea by Coach Cristobal.
And just a greater engagement when it comes to the bevy of recruits that are here with the actual campus as well. Mario Cristobal really wants to establish that moving forward. You've seen it. You've been very vocal about it. You've seen a noticeable uptick, call it, in quality South Florida talent in Cristobal's first couple of recruiting cycles coming here.
Yeah, well,
again.
You've seen the production and the fast production, too. Ruben Bain Jr. from Miami right here at home. He ends up being the ACC Defensive Rookie of the Year. Mark Fletcher, now a sophomore, again last year coming out of American Heritage High School, local talent. Xavier Restrepo, leading receiver, 1,000 yards last year. He's from Coconut Creek down in South Florida. So when you look at it, Miami's always been built on the South Florida players. And I'll guarantee that's something that Coach Crispo wants to keep going. He's also a South Florida guy himself.
I mean, how many were, you brought this point up not long ago. Look back to that the latest championship team, 2001. Boy, it feels like half the roster still lives here in South Florida.
Absolutely, and can you blame them, though, Kevin? I mean, you look around, it's a tropical climate. I live down here with my family up in Fort Lauderdale area. It's great, year-round golf. It's pretty nice. Then also, again, just getting a chance to get a great education as well from the University of Miami, one of the top private institutions in the country, too. So best of both worlds down here playing for the U.
You and I, we got to get our handicaps down.
I definitely need to get my handicap
I keep
down.
saying, right, every summer, it's like, this is the summer.
Yeah, me too.
Take the lessons, never happens.
Yep, never happens. I ain't going to say what my score was the other day, but it wasn't pretty. Wasn't pretty. But had those good shots that, like, again, they always say, at least one's going to bring you back, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Catch one off the tee. And this has been a fun day here in Coral Gables. There's been just great engagement. You know, there's a lot of not just recruits, and that's the biggest caveat of this is, you know, let's make sure the recruits are enjoying themselves this weekend. We've got a whole bunch of them. You've got the families. You've got a select number of fans.
Team got legends here too. Pro Football Hall of Famers, Andre Johnson, Devin Hester.
Roaming about. We've got a lot of the fans are what? They're maybe 10, 20 yards from the field. You don't get that, of course,
access. It's great access.
At Hard Rock Stadium.
Yep.
And so Coach Andre Johnson now, his team in position to close this thing out. So the future Hall of Famer, he and Devin Hester, the two honorary coaches today, they're going into the Hall of Fame this August. You know, you played in that game, that Hall of Fame game. What was that like?
Well, it was really cool. This was actually my rookie year as a Buffalo Bill, and played in the Hall of Fame game. Now, it is nice because you get to see the Hall of Famers go through being inducted and all those types of things, but it is a 5th preseason game. And now I think they've shortened it, so you actually have 4, because right now it's technically 3.
Yeah.
And so it was a good game. I mean, again, when you get a chance to see some of these legends go out there and actually get inducted there in Canton, it's very, very special.
We've talked about what's next for the staff, for the players. All right, for the fans, here's what's coming your way in 2024, because EJ, look alive. We are a little less than, 5 months here from the Battle Royale in Gainesville to kick this season off. August 31st. Everybody loves to take a peek at the schedule this time of year.
You know what the cool thing about the schedule is, Kevin? The first 5 games of this season are all played in the state of Florida. So you got at Florida, you got Florida A&M at home, you got Ball State at home, at South Florida, then you got Virginia Tech at home. So that's a huge advantage to this Miami football team. You can come out of that thing potentially 5-0, 4-1. It's a great start to the season.
Quick road trip to Cal and the Bay Area, of course.
It's going to be a nice trip, though. It's going to be nice and sunny. We talk about golf. Some good golf out there, too.
Hey, of course, this being the first year, Cal, SMU, Stanford, part of the ACC, so Miami will visit Berkeley for the first ever ACC game for Miami, that is at Cal.
It's going to be a really good game between Miami and Florida. And I believe the last time they played, Florida actually got the W. But, again, when you got a quarterback like Cam Ward and some of the returning starters on defense like Ruben Bain Jr., Coach Crispo is probably licking his chops, looking forward to getting some Gator bait right there.
2 iconic brands. They haven't played in 5 years. This will be it's a long time coming.
Yep.
Emory Williams showing his gratitude. We've seen the whole gamut of quarterbacks from Mario Cristobal. Nice catch on the run towards the sideline by Nathaniel. They call him Ray Joseph. He's made a nice.
He's had a great day.
Yeah, some nice catches today. That'll be very intriguing to watch this year. A player like Joseph, a player like Horton, do they take that step forward that George and Restrepo did last year?
Absolutely. Even Robbie Washington, JoJo Trader's going to be in that conversation. Michael Redding III, he'll be in that conversation. Shamar Kirk certainly helped himself as a backup receiver trying to get into that rotation. A really solid day here in the spring game.
Well, they make the Emory Williams gets one more completion there before the horn, and this spring game is in the books. We will read.